Welcome back to my new Toby.
And I'm Kat.
And this is the and today we are going to video. And I have the noodle with those hot chocolate. So yeah.
Nice. Is there any caffeine in that hot chocolate, young man? I don't know why you need caffeine. It blows my mind. You just already have so much energy, but I also have coffee because it makes me nicer. And sorry, let me put that down. My mukbang today is, by the way, this is not an ad. This is not intended to be an ad. But I got this, every month, I get this delivery of vegan snacks from like different stores and stuff, just so I can try a bunch of stuff. So for the mukbang, I'm just going to be eating different vegan snacks that I got from snacksacks.com, which is really fun. But yeah, I've already kind of started eating, to be perfectly honest. Sorry, Toby. I just finished eating these gluten-free bites, and I'm going to go into this natural mango bar. And I'm going to keep drinking my coffee.
By the way, I just want to say, if you want to follow my TikTok specifically, I call that every day, and by the time you believe I will be back online, but I was banned from going live for weeks because I like to do it, and I do it a little bit. But on one live, I was doing it completely and playing. But I'm not going to be doing that a lot because I like going live and I don't want to be back out. But yeah, and yeah, I like doing it. I don't know but
You go live every day?
yeah.
No wonder you drink caffeine. I'd have no energy if I went live every day. Jeez. What do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about adoption.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm actually like really pumped we're talking about this today because in like 10 to 12 years, I'm hoping I would like to adopt a kid. I've always wanted that since I was like really young. My brother is actually adopted, and for a while my parents were foster parents. So like my brother's really cool. We get along super well. So I've never had the urge to have children, but the idea of adopting a kid is really exciting for me, and it's something I plan to do in the future but it's like not, I mean, I don't know how far I should get into it. The hard thing, there's a lot of things about adoption, but like, Toby, why are you interested in talking about adoption today? Do you want to adopt?
Yeah, I really want to do both adopt and biological, but I want to adopt them. There is a lot of people who need to adopt. I want to adopt all ages, and I want to adopt people with disabilities too. Because I love that out like a offer. There is a good amount of disabled people that don't get adopted at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad because like when you're going to adopt a kid, it's just like everything about it's a little bit harder. It's kind of expensive depending about the way you go about it.
If you want to adopt, the way into adoption, it costs you $40,000.
That's if you do it through a private agency. Like, so adopting a kid can be up to like $40,000, but it depends how you adopt the kid. So it's more expensive if you do it through a private agency. The cool thing about doing it through like a private agency is that when you adopt the kid, you're done. You won't have to worry about the biological parents trying to take the kid back. The kid's totally yours, and everything is like good. And you get like more choices, where it is cheaper to adopt a kid through like foster care, but there can be issues you can run into. Like sometimes the biological parents do want their child back, and you may have to like deal with that. And there's just more loose ends. And also, no matter how you adopt a kid, and it feels like it's maybe a little more likely when you adopt from foster care, they might come to you when you adopt them with psychological issues or just issues in general. And you have to be able to afford to help that child with those issues. Like, for example, when my brother was adopted, he had to have a few surgeries, and surgery, even if you have great health insurance, isn't cheap. And if you don't have great health insurance, it's going to be expensive. So that's the other thing about adopting. Not only does it cost money to adopt the child, but you also have to be ready to deal with whatever comes with that kid. So it can be expensive and it can be hard, but like for me, that doesn't deter me at all, because I've always wanted to adopt a kid, and it's just like, it's not their fault they ended up the way they are, or they ended up without parents or in foster care. So I'm just going to like adopt them and love them, and whatever happens, you know? Yeah.
I did hear one story, I don't know if you know this, but it's on YouTube. Yeah. There is always, they know someone who doesn't give back, but the give back because they don't have the kid that is sad.
So you said that you heard about the YouTube case where parents gave their child back after adopting them. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah.
Are you asking me how I like feel about that, or like I heard about that too.
Yeah, I did a bit about that.
So I actually know a family that adopted a kid, and after 5 months or so, they actually ended up having to give the kid back to the adoption agency because of some behavioral issues. This family already had 3 children, and the behavioral issues were so bad, the family just couldn't financially, or they didn't have the time to deal with it. So that was the best course of action. I don't know the details of the case you're talking about. I think I can't give you an answer to that situation. In general, it's kind of like, I feel like adoption should be treated like marriage. You go into it with the best intentions. You go into it with the goal of not getting divorced. However, if circumstances are a way where you can't give that child the care they need, and you can't work through it, and you are allowed to, give the kid back and give them a chance of being connected with a family that works better with them, I think that's fine. I'm not going to speak to the specific case you're talking about. When I go into it, will I do everything I can to avoid that happening? Absolutely. But I'm just not hard on people, because if you can't, like, financially, or you don't have the time or you can't take more time off of work than you already have to care for the kid, and that seems like the best course of action, that's just what you have to do. But I would always say, if you adopt a kid, avoid that situation as much as possible. But I'm not going to slander someone, and I don't know their story. I know my friend's story, and I get why they had to do what they had to do. But I think you should always go into things with, like, the best intention of, like, giving that kid the best life for as long as you can. Because, like I was talking about earlier, there's a chance, like, when I adopt a kid, I'm probably going to do it through, like, foster to adopt. There's a chance the biological parents may not, may want them back, and I may have to be in a situation someday where I have to deal with that. And you just kind of have to be okay with it. You just have to kind of roll with what life gives you and make the best decision possible. I know that's not like the black and white answer, but it's all circumstantial. But short point, I think you should do everything you can not to let that happen. But life it do be like that sometimes. What do you think? It probably wasn't good for anybody in the situation. So you want to adopt too?
Yeah.
How many kids do you think you want?
but yeah, you know what?
Do I want a donut?
Yeah.
Thank you. If and when you adopt, how many kids do you think you would want?
About boy.
Four? No wonder you get ready to be drinking a lot of caffeine your whole life. I think at most two, but I'm really aiming for just one. Not because it's like just because financial reasons, because I want to be able to afford to give this kid the best shot possible. And I just, with what I do, I don't see being able to do anything more than one. At max two, if like I found a kid that I loved but they had a sibling, then obviously you have to take them both because you're not going to separate them because that would be awful. But yeah, adoption can be like is expensive and it just and it can be hard and it can take a long time. I also like don't understand why more people don't adopt. I mean, I know it's like we all want to have kids that look like us and stuff, but I've never had the urge to have children, so I always get like confused why I don't see more people like adopting. I don't know why it's not more common. I know one of my teachers actually adopted children with disabilities, which is really cool. Yeah. I don't know a lot about their situation, but it's just like, I don't know. I wonder like if you adopt a child with a disability, if you do get some government assistance just so you can make sure that that kid is getting all the resources they need. I hope they do that.
Well, they probably do because well, I don't know because my situation might be different because of my birth, my mom grew. I feel because I know that now about me, but let me just explain my story a little bit. So, my mom was at a military abroad. They gave her a Midwest, but she did not request for it. But they gave it to her. But the doctor said the removal come in when you need me, and she didn't come. The doctor and my head was not basic down. No, my head was still big. So my mom used to his brother, and they had to do a decision. If the doctor was in the room, I would not be like this today.
So scary.
Yeah.
That's so scary. I'm glad you're
And
here.
the doctor, and the doctor said that I would probably die around the age of 10 and 18.
You proved them wrong. Gang gang. Why do you want to adopt 4 kids though? That's a lot of kids.
Well, no, I got invited.
Oh, so like that's so many kids. So you're thinking that you're going to be very rich. Okay, cool. Kids are expensive, like beyond like so it's so funny. Okay, so you know what's different between adoption and having children? If you get pregnant, okay, if you want to have a kid, all you have to do is get pregnant. If you want to adopt a kid, you actually have to have like someone come into your home and like decide if your home and you and your partner are suitable parents. Like you have to get approved. You don't have to like, it's so weird. Like if you get pregnant, like no one comes to your home and makes sure your living quarters are suitable for a baby. But if you adopt one, you have to like pass those kind of things and you have to pay more money. It's so weird that there's like, but it's like, I'm not mad that it's there. I'm like, I get it. I'm not like mad about it. It's just like interesting that like when you get pregnant, you're not required to take any type of parenting course. You're not required to meet any standards in your home. You can just have the baby and it like doesn't matter. But when you adopt, there's standards you have to hit. And I don't think adoption standards should change. However, I do think at minimum that when you become pregnant, there should be some free online or something courses you have to take just so you're on the same page. Like, I don't mean to be that way, but I'm just like, you're bringing a child into the world. Like, it just feels like, not like, I'm not saying that like people are dumb, but like there should be some kind of resources like, hey, congratulations, you're going to be a parent, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Here's a couple things we're just going to point out to you. Here are some resources. Good luck. Like, I feel like, I don't think that's weird. Do you think that's weird?
I get what you're talking about. My friends, they don't know what to do with them when they get home from having a baby.
Yeah, I mean, people are smart and they can just go on the internet or like talk to their friends who've had kids, or they talk to their families.
Yeah.
But like, your family and your friends only know so much. It would be cool when you get pregnant if there was like, I don't know, just someone that reached out to you and like kind of like helped you navigate a little bit about like things you need to start thinking about. It would be cool. But what are you the most excited about? Like okay, so when I think about adopting a kid, which I'm 10 to 12 years away from that, because I'm kind of getting financially there. I'm not professionally settled enough. I don't feel grounded enough. I feel like there's still a lot of, I do want to spend all my free time right now on myself and my own interests. I don't think I'm ready to, be more selfless with my time, to be perfectly honest. But what I'm excited about is just like I'm a big kid at heart. I'm really excited to just see them navigate the world, see what they get excited about.
I will be that forever.
You're gonna be what? Oh, you're gonna be 5 forever. Yeah, that's the hard thing about adopting though, is like, or becoming a parent, is like, you have to be like, okay, my free time when I get off work is not always my time. Sometimes I just have to do things that, sorry, I got distracted. I have to do things that maybe I don't want to necessarily do because I'm raising this other human being, which like, if I'm in a financial place and I have a work-life balance, I feel like that could be a really joyous thing. But I know that I'm not ready to do that now, because right now I'm really focused on my TikTok career. I'm focused on having a lot of fun and really knowing who I am. But I think it'll be so fun to like have a kid and like see what they're into and just see the world through their eyes and see things differently and just watch them succeed and see what I can do to help them. And the cool thing about like adopting is that you know that you're putting them on a better trajectory. Like, you know that it's like, hey, like I can't give them everything in the world, but it's like I could help them become the best version of themselves, and I'd be so psyched for that, and it would be so fun. And just to know that I'm, helping someone become their truest form of their self would be magical, and I'd get to see the world differently. And I just think it'd be super fun, but it would also be it's going to be super hard, but it's just like, I'm excited for it when it comes. When do you think you would, I think, like, personally, I think you're about 20 years away from adopting kids or having kids. What do you think?
I don't know.
You just know, you want it someday, you just don't know when. For me, I know I'm like 10 years away from it. Quick wrap up. I'm excited to adopt. Toby's excited to adopt someday. I'm excited to adopt in 10 years. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it kind of expensive? Yes. But I'm excited about it.
More people will be inclined to adopt if it was less money. So I really do think we people should try to get that, because that is why is it a lot of money do that, like,
It does seem silly that it's a lot of money to it like up to $40,000 to adopt a kid kind of seems insane because you're doing a really good thing when you adopt a kid. Like you're taking them away from having to be like paid for by tax dollars. You're giving a home, a safe space. So I don't really understand why you have to pay $40,000 to do something that is fairly selfless. It seems silly. Like I would be really upset if I got to. I'm hoping that because I plan to do foster to adopt, that it's like only a couple $1,000s. But if it was $40,000, if I was told tomorrow the only way I could adopt is if I paid $40,000, I may not be able to do it, and that would really suck. Or I'd have to take out a loan. I'd have to take out a huge loan to do it, which may be worth it, but it kind of sucks because you're like, okay, I have to pay $40,000 to get this kid, and when I get the kid, they might have medical problems that I have to pay for. So why did you guys already start me off $40,000 in the hole when I'm just trying to be a parent to a kid that lost their parents through whatever circumstance? It seems silly that it's that much
yeah.
money. So I'm hopeful that like if I do it through foster care, that it's only a couple thousand, because that's what I've read. The most I think someone should have to pay to adopt is only a couple thousand. At the very most, maybe 10, which I still think is ridiculous because that is a small fortune. But like I've read that it's like it can be $2,000 if you do through foster care, which I think is like fine because there's paperwork, there's background checks, there's other things that have to be done, and I understand that comes with a fee. But $40,000 to help another human being, and that money just goes to the government or the private agency, that's very underfilled. Like that is not fair at all. Like, but we didn't kind of talk about it because it's a tricky subject. So adopting disabled kids, I mean, would that be something I would do? I would like to say yes, but I would have to have. It would depend on my career. I could talk to you about that in 10 years when I'm closer to being able to do it. I think it's.
Yeah, and if it is someone with officer, you will obviously have to have a handicap accessible place.
I didn't even think of that, Toby. Like, not only if you adopt a disabled kid, are you going to have to pay more money and have like just more what comes with that? Your house or your apartment has to be handicap accessible. Like, if I wanted to adopt a child with disabilities, like my apartment is actually handicap accessible, so that would be fine.
It depends because people who have a disability but don't have a wheelchair, your us might be fine because they don't need a wheelchair, but if they need a wheelchair, yeah.
It's just like I didn't think of that. Like it's just like adopting a child with a disability. I think anyone who wants to adopt would love to open up their hearts to it. Unfortunately, if their work schedule, their time, and their housing situation don't meet their needs, it's harder for them to do. I haven't even thought about that because I knew I wanted to adopt a kid, but I never thought about the disabilities part. I'm open to it. It would just come down to my finances, my living situation, and my partner. And like, would one of us be able to take some time, a significant time off from work to help that child adjust? Or like, would one of us be able to be a stay-at-home parent if needed? So it just kind of like, it really comes down to circumstance. I would love to be someone that could do that, but I know like at the end of the day, my finances are what they are, and if I can't give that, can't do that for someone, I can't. So that's really tough though. That sucks that it's just like a kid if there is a disabled kid that wants to be adopted, they're way less likely just because people may not be able to afford to care for them. That sucks.
Yeah. Because I don't believe the cat under the cat put it one and other this month give it one, two, three, or any other number of months. So if you want a packet of mama, go to this video right here. It will be time for the I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Never worry, 'cause I got a million